Carson City, Nevada history, secrets of the Silver State's capital. Carson City, officially known as the Carson City Consolidated Municipality, holds a unique place in Nevada's past. Unlike most cities in the United States, it stands as an independent city and has long served as the state's enigmatic capital. As of the 2020 census, its population reached just under 59,000, ranking as Nevada's sixth largest city. Most of its people live in Eagle Valley, shadowed by the Carson Range, a rugged branch of the Sierra Nevada that looms mysteriously to the west, only 30 miles south of Reno. The city takes its name from Kit Carson, the famed mountain man whose adventures on the western frontier became legend. Yet Carson City's rise was no ordinary tale. What began as a humble stop for California-bound travelers transformed overnight with the discovery of the Comstock Lode, a silver strike that pulled fortune seekers into the surrounding mountains. From that moment on, the city became a vital center of wealth, politics, and intrigue. Since Nevada's statehood in 1864, Carson City has held the title of capital, while the clatter of the Virginia and Truckee Railroad once echoed through its streets. For decades, these tracks tied the city to the mines and mysteries of the Comstock. But by 1950 the rails had vanished, leaving only echoes of a forgotten era. Before 1969, Carson City was also the seat of Ormsby County. Then, in a bold move approved by voters, the two entities merged, creating the Carson City Consolidated Municipality. This shift expanded its boundaries across the Sierra Nevada all the way to Lake Tahoe, making Carson City one of the rarest forms of government in America. A city and a county bound as one. Today, Carson City is not only Nevada's political heart but also a place where the past lingers in every street, every building, and every shadow of the Sierra Nevada. To explore Carson City, Nevada's history is to step into a world where silver, survival, and statehood collide in mysterious ways. Carson City, Nevada history, from Washoe lands to a capital in the making. Long before Carson City rose as Nevada's capital, the Washoe people called this valley home. For nearly 6,000 years, they lived in the shadow of the Sierra Nevada, their traditions rooted in the rivers and mountains that surrounded Eagle Valley. The first recorded arrival of European Americans came in January 1843, when John C. Fremont led an expedition into the region. With him was the legendary frontiersman Kit Carson, whose name would soon be etched into the very landscape. Fremont, struck by Carson's skill and loyalty, christened the flowing waters of the valley the Carson River. Over time, settlers would honor the Washoe people by naming the area after them, though their own place in history was often overshadowed by newcomers seeking fortune. By 1851, a small ranch known as Eagle Station rose along the Carson River. It became a vital trading post, a sanctuary for weary travelers on the California Trail's Carson branch. The name Eagle itself carried a strange tale. One of the early settlers had killed a bald eagle, mounting its wings inside the post as a symbol. From then on, the valley carried the eagle's mark, a haunting reminder of the fragile balance between wilderness and settlement. At that time, the land was part of the vast Utah Territory, ruled from Salt Lake City under the leadership of Brigham Young. But the settlers of Eagle Valley grew restless. They bristled at the distance, at the authority of Mormon-influenced officials, and dreamed instead of a new territory, Nevada. One figure would lead this movement: Abraham Curry, a visionary and relentless settler. Alongside Isaac Roop, who briefly served as provisional governor, Curry pushed for independence and sought out the perfect site for a capital. In 1858, Curry purchased Eagle Station and renamed the settlement Carson City. With ambition carved into every street, he had the valley surveyed and set aside a 10-acre plot for something he believed was inevitable: a grand capitol building. What began as Washoe land, then a lonely trading post, was now being transformed into the heart of a new territory. Carson City was no longer just a stop on the trail, it was a city born of rebellion, vision, and the mysterious forces of destiny that seemed to haunt Nevada's rugged frontier. Carson City, Nevada history, the silver boom and the birth of a capital. In 1859, destiny came thundering into Carson Valley. Gold and silver ore were discovered on the nearby Comstock Lode, and with it came a flood of settlers, gamblers, and fortune seekers. Carson City, once a quiet settlement, was suddenly transformed into a thriving frontier town at the heart of Nevada's new wealth. Abraham Curry, never a man to waste opportunity, built the Warm Springs Hotel just east of the town center. When James W. Nye arrived in Nevada as the new territorial governor, he was escorted inland by Carson City lawyer William M. Stewart. Stewart's influence and Curry's vision ensured that Nye chose Carson City, not Genoa, not Virginia City, not American Flat, as the new territorial capital. The Warm Springs Hotel soon took on a strange dual role. It served as the first meeting place for the territorial legislature and soon after as the territorial prison. Curry himself was appointed its first warden. Even today that ground remains part of Nevada's prison system, a haunting link to Carson City's earliest days of power and control. Then came the war. As the Civil War raged across the East, Nevada was admitted as the 36th state in 1864, with Carson City named the permanent capital. Unlike so many mining towns that faded with the exhaustion of ore, Carson City secured its survival as a commercial and political center. The city's future no longer rested solely on silver, it rested on its power as Nevada's heart. Progress followed quickly. The Virginia and Truckee Railroad connected Carson City to Virginia City, carrying silver, timber, and stories between the two booming towns. A massive log flume channeled timber from the Sierra Nevada directly into the city. Then, in 1869, construction began on the Nevada state capitol, a structure of stone and authority that still stands today. But wealth brought more than buildings, it brought people from every corner of the world. The Carson City Mint opened in 1870, striking coins in silver and gold until 1893, marking Nevada's resources into the very currency of the nation. And during this same period, immigrants from China arrived, many first as laborers for the Transcontinental Railroad. In Carson City they built businesses, opened schools, and added their own chapter to Nevada's frontier story. By 1880, nearly 1 in every 5 residents of Carson City was Chinese, an enduring reminder that this city was not just built by miners and politicians, but by many hands, many cultures, and many sacrifices. Carson City's history in the late 19th century was written in silver, sweat, and ambition. It was a place where fortunes were struck, power was consolidated, and the capital of Nevada was forever secured. Carson City, Nevada history, decline, resilience, and rebirth. As the 19th century turned to the 20th, Carson City faced a quiet but unsettling decline. When the Central Pacific Railroad completed its line through Donner Pass, the route bypassed the Virginia and Truckee line and left Carson City on the sidelines of Western expansion. The once bustling capital began to empty, its population dwindling as prosperity passed it by. There were sparks of revival. The mining booms of Tonopah and Goldfield briefly breathed life back into the city. Landmark buildings such as the United States Federal Building, completed in 1890, and the Stewart Indian School gave Carson City renewed purpose. Yet by 1930, its population had fallen to little more than 1,500 souls. The capital embraced its modest scale with a peculiar slogan, America's smallest capital. The decades that followed, however, would transform Carson City once again. Gambling was legalized in Nevada in 1931, drawing travelers, fortune seekers, and curious tourists into the city. By the 1940s, the community began serious discussions about merging Carson City with its surrounding Ormsby County. The county was little more than the city itself and a scattering of hamlets, and by 1960, nearly all of its residents lived in Carson City. After years of debate, the merger was approved. On April 1, 1969, Ormsby County and Carson City officially became one, the consolidated municipality of Carson City. With a stroke of law, Carson City transformed from the smallest capital to one of the largest state capitals in America, stretching across 146 square miles. The merger absorbed historic communities like Empire City, once a milling hub along the Carson River, weaving their histories permanently into Carson City's fabric. Modernization arrived in careful steps. In 1991, city leaders adopted a master plan that ensured the Nevada state capitol would forever dominate the skyline, banning any building within 500 feet from rising higher. Today the Ormsby House, completed in 1972, remains the tallest building downtown, a quiet sentinel over a city that has lived through both decline and rebirth. Carson City's history is one of contradictions, from bustling silver boomtown to fading capital, from America's smallest to one of its largest. It is a story of survival, adaptation, and the mysterious resilience of a city that refused to fade into obscurity. And this is only one chapter in the greater saga of the American West. If you've enjoyed exploring Carson City, Nevada's history, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow history enthusiasts, and subscribe to History Love, your go-to channel for uncovering the fascinating, untold stories of the past.